Alright guys, let's talk about it. Y'all see the title. Latinos are furious at black people for staying silent on mass deportation. Wanted to do a quick video on this topic because it's been popping up in my feed a lot. I've been hearing a lot of different opinions about this topic. And so what I thought I would do is share two different experiences that I had that shaped my perception of this issue. And then I'll conclude. So my first experience I want to talk about when I worked at a fast food restaurant. And this was my first encounter or my first time that I actually got to work with and get to know someone from the Hispanic community because we worked together. So I really got a chance to get to know this guy. He didn't speak any English. His name was Santos. And me and Santos was responsible for washing the dishes. And what I remember distinctively about Santos was that he was a very hard worker, and I was a very hard worker myself. Me being an African American. And what I loved about working with Santos is that we both worked hard and we made each other's job a lot easier. And I just remember always saying to myself, wow, the rumors are true about, the Hispanic community. They are very hardworking and they will push you to have to work hard because you'll look bad, you let somebody outwork you. And I was just young at the time and, I was not gonna let anybody outwork me. I didn't care who you were from or where you were from. That was just the kind of spirit I had. Long story short, we ended up getting a new kitchen manager, and this kitchen manager, for some strange reason, kept asking me to do things that were like way outside of my work description. Like he wanted me to clean the bottom of the sink poles and make it back shiny and stuff like that. Little silly stuff that had nothing to do with the regular operation of the restaurant. And slowly but surely, I never let that bother me. Everything he asked me to do, I would just get it done. And I remember one time I got into a small, very small little argument with one of my classmates because I was still in high school at that time. One of my classmates, we got to arguing about some stuff, and he told both of us to clock out, and he fired us right on the spot. And in my mind, I just didn't feel like that. Or I said we weren't really arguing. We were just having a little, we both go to school together. We're cool. We play basketball with each other. We just talking a little smack. He said, clock out. I never forget that experience. And now I think about it, I was like, maybe he asked us to clock out because he was just trying to get us out of there and get, like, I never really looked at cheap labor in that way. But so my first impression was, yes, the Hispanic communities are very hardworking, and I respected it, and I had no issue with it. Let's fast forward to the next experience. Years later, and this is not a knock to the Hispanic community, but I always felt like the black community and the Hispanic community understood each other's struggle, and things of that nature, and we were both working to try to better our communities and things of that nature. But I had another experience one time when I went to a plaza, and this plaza had a whole lot of Hispanic shops. It was basically a Hispanic plaza. And me, I don't care if it's Hispanic, Jamaican, Asian, Korean, Chinese. I don't care. I like to go places, shop, and just be treated like a human being anywhere I go. I don't care where it's at. So I went into the plaza, and I remember I just needed some water for some. I forgot exactly why. If I needed a cup of water or some ice or something. And I remember walking around the plaza, and I would ask, some of the ladies, and these were Hispanic, like I said, shops and whatnot. And I was treated, honestly, guys, I was treated very rudely. And I said, why am I being? And I could tell it wasn't just one person; it was a collective thing. And I honestly felt very unwelcome in that plaza. And last but not least, I got the last and last. This is the third experience. One day I was doing a delivery for Uber Eats, and I ended up going to a restaurant. I went into the restaurant and I was waiting on the order that I needed to deliver. And as I was waiting, I stood next to the area at the restaurant where people were sitting down eating. And when I looked in there, there were only a few white families there, and I saw a few Hispanic families sitting there enjoying their meal. And as I was standing there waiting for my order, the order was taking kind of long, so I'm just standing there, and I poked my head inside of that area where those Hispanic and those few white families were eating, and I stuck my head back out, and all of a sudden I heard people making monkey sounds. I'm like, I know I didn't hear that right. And so I walked back to that area and I stuck my head in there to see like who was making that sound. And a couple of them had this little weird look on their faces, but nobody said anything. People were kind of looking around. And I was thinking to myself, well, I can understand if, this, I see the white people that's in here. But what I didn't understand was what are these Hispanic guys doing in here looking like they're okay with this? That's what really threw me off. I'm like, y'all not gonna say anything about that? Y'all not gonna let me know who was making that noise? Um, and so I wanted to share those experiences because that shaped my perception of the Hispanic community. Because I would say to myself, well, hmm, these guys, the Hispanic community really doesn't stand with us as the black community. They really don't. That's really how I felt. And that, and I'm not saying I've met many wonderful Hispanics, but I'm saying overall, these few experiences really shaped how I saw the Hispanic community even before the mass deportation was going on and things of that nature. In my mind, I just felt like, well, they don't really stand with us as black people. And I was kind of shocked because it was those experiences, which are very, you know, they weren't major experiences, but that's all I had to go off of. And first impressions, that means a lot. And so when I got around a bunch of Hispanics, I got treated a certain way. And it would have been nice if somebody in that restaurant could have stood up for me and said, "Hey, no, we're not doing that." But nobody stood up. Nobody spoke up. Everybody just act like they didn't hear it. And I remember going outside to the front cashier, and I told the cashier people, I said, "Hey, somebody's in there making monkey sounds." And they were like, they act like they didn't know what I was talking about. And then they heard it with me. So we were all like, I said, "Now, did you hear that?" They were like, "Yeah, I do hear that." I said, "Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that." And I said, "I can't believe you guys can work in here while people are doing that." But back to the point. So the Hispanic community feels as if the black community doesn't want to speak up, or that we're remaining silent in regards to the mass deportation. I will admit there is some reservation there. See, people got to understand when people feel that you're not helping them, they're not going to help you. That's just human nature. And I feel like the Hispanic community has benefited a lot from some of the struggles that blacks has faced in America. And we've learned a lot from the Hispanic community that maybe we do need to pick it up a little bit as far as our work ethics and things of that nature. So we can learn from each other. But I just think that the impression that many blacks received from the Hispanic community was that you didn't stand with us and that you weren't with us. And I just got to be honest, and I think that's just the sentiment of a lot of African Americans because we've had our own struggles here in this country and things of that nature. And I just think that's the reality of it. Me personally, I think that it's all crafted to turn us against each other. I don't believe in racism. I believe that these are all, but but I also believe that there is levels to truth. There is racism is true. It does exist, you know, but I also believe that there's a higher truth than that, and that's love, and that's we all being human beings, and that there is one common denominator, and that's the Most High God. So I don't want to ever lose sight of thinking that, oh, it's all Hispanic or it's all, but if we're going to speak about it as a whole, as a community, as the Hispanic community as a whole, I think that's how black people feel right now, is that when you know when somebody is standing with you and you know when they're not. And to stand as black people in this country, we feel as if the Hispanic community overall has stood with more of the European community in regards to who they were willing to side with and sympathize with. And I think that now these type of things come back to bite you in different ways. So that's my opinion on it. And leave a comment, let me know what you think. But I just thought it was kind of interesting, and I just wanted to share my personal experience so that it wouldn't just be me just giving a opinion about something without any kind of reasoning. But my perception of, and I'm just talking perception, because like I said, I met wonderful Hispanics. Even the guy I worked with, Santos. I always looked up to Santos. I said that's a hard worker. Anybody that I see work hard and they work with me, I mean, that's just, I see them as a human being trying to make a living and work hard. I don't put Santos in the boat with a whole other every Mexican out there. No. But at the same time, as a whole, and the reason why I brought up the job was, yeah, I may have lost my job because of the companies wanting to hire people for cheaper labor. So that may have been true. I didn't think about it back then because I was young. Because I knew that I got fired for a very silly reason. But these are the things that we look at now. We say, well, as black people, we do suffer in different ways that are overlooked. And that maybe the Hispanic community may have not connected some of those dots to see why sometimes, we may be frustrated about different things. But anyways, let me not babble on. I hope you guys appreciate my feedback. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think.